So here we go, back once again to the Renegade Master. So we continue on the right angle cross of explanation with the 2-4 profile. The 2-4. When we get to the second line of the 43, which is dedication, this will later be the name that we will see in the left angle figurations of this cross. The left angle cross of dedication, the maintenance of specialized attitude, dedication to action. What you're looking at is the recognition that one cannot, it's very rare to find 2-4s that are waiting to be called. Most 2-4s are being forced by the call, but in the 4323, again, we deal in so it's very different because the wiring is there, the impulse is different, and that is the impulse the 2-4 wants to do something with the structure, not just explain it, but to get into something way. So here we go to begin to see in which mutation brings new forms into society, just about all the ways in which we have organized our physical life. Remember that civilization built the forms, but in fact, mutation makes them useful, and not only makes them useful, but expands upon them because it's the creative force working through a form, and through mutation, the form can be changed, but only slowly. The 4323 says it makes a lot of structure sense and it's very efficient. And you're going into surgery that the instruments are clean. Now that extends an awful lot of lives. It's the kind of thing where the 4323 says not only is it an explanation, you idiot, you'd better start using it. And they're the ones who insist that for themselves, they look, are those instruments clean? Because they understand that the form itself is not efficient. Everybody knows that when you buy a house or bought a boat or a car, you only realize that you bought something that is fundamentally inefficient and that you're going to spend all your time trying to get it to work properly and maintain it so it will work properly. It's just the way it is. Every single form that comes into existence has a built in flaw. They're terminal. They all have a shelf life that is limited, every form. So the creativity on the other side is immediately upset by this. The yang says to the yin, see, you're not so good at it. It's like, yeah, you built that, but hey, what is going on to run? Who's going to make it work? Just because it's there doesn't mean it's going to work. So the 4323 is into its all structuring and its efficiency, and this is the way we're going to get to the best out of the form. So dedication is a very interesting capacity to be dedicated to the proper expansion and development of the efficiency in forms. Of course, this is genius to freak, and if you're not correct and if you don't operate correctly, some of those wonderful suggestions are going to be treated with enormous contempt. The 2-4 is sitting there saying, please call, please call, please call. The 2-4s, that's the Democrat. Let me tell you how to make a better voting machine so people can actually have a legitimate vote. Let me tell you how to organize this. They're sitting there going, why don't you come? And the difficulty is because they're not operating out of the inner authority. That energy is coming to them. It's natural, a defined channel. The energy is coming to them. But in fact, they're responding, or whatever their function is that they're not getting involved in with the right things. Oh, yes, I hope you structured that. So many 4323s are wasted bringing structure to things that have no import, but they're freaks after all. One has to recognize that. The 2-5, unique intentional and mental habits that expresses the 2-5 on this cross better than anything else. They can be deeply revolutionary in the ability to be able to explain a new structure, but rarely does anyone listen to them. And they learn that very young. Most 2-5s and 5-2s lose their power in the first 7 years of their life. Most of them it's gone. Because remember that when they really have to have it, it's within them that brings them out. It can just be pulled from them. They have to accept that it will be pulled. Again, we see an abnormal here where we have the 2-4 configuration that says, come, I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting to influence you in the way of structure. Where the 2-5 is different. Very early, the 2-5 tries to explain to its mother, don't do it this way. And all hell breaks loose. And it doesn't work. And one of the things about the 4323 is that they're like any of the definition channels. The 4323, the 2034, the 4037, they carry deep prejudices. They carry grudges, deep grudges. It's something to understand about them. If a 4323 says to you, look, the structure is this way, let me explain to you, and then you do it, and then they don't do it, they will never forgive you. It's like a 4037 and the bargain doesn't work. They never forgive you, regardless of who's to blame. It's like the 2034 doesn't interfere with them. They will hold a grudge against you for the rest of their life. And you have to see that these hardwired opposition carry their prejudices. So you have a 4323 child who's 2-5, and they see right away that their parents were supposed to be blah. Don't pay any attention to their brilliant understanding of changing the structure. And from then on, it's very difficult for them to motivate themselves to bother. After all, they've got a second personality that they can very easily step into this. Ah, leave me alone. They've got the paranoia underneath. They are not going to listen to me. It isn't going to work. And of course, they become very, very isolated as beings. Yeah, very poor. 2552. A lot of processing inside.